Like, y'all untrustworthy.
Yeah, but the protect all black women stuff is just dumb. Like I said, it just, once I realized what it meant, because we talked about it in another video, and you was telling me like they meant protect black women from black men.
Well, not just black men. They mean protect black women from everybody. But the most times they use it as a catch-all term for, like, black women are the least protected in the country because whatever the case may be. But a lot of like hardcore black feminists will try to make the argument that black women are most in danger of being deleted by black men. And I'm like, okay, but that's not indicative to only black people, because if you look at any domestic violent case where a woman's the victim, it's usually by their partner, and the partner is usually of the same ethnic origin. So if you're going to sit here and say that, make the argument that all black men are just violent criminals,
then why should we?
Why are you asking us to protect you?
Right.
So you want
the perpetuator to also protect you?
That's right. That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense to me. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the one tripping.
No, you're not. And because I always sit down and I ponder this thought because
when I first heard this, I thought this was in response to like the police attacks and stuff, and I'm like, well, they're not getting attacked by police en masse like
they're
black
not.
men are. Because I thought that was the argument. Then when I realized they mean like domestic shit,
not just domestic shit. Like remember the therapist that was on YouTube and talking about how you want to communicate with your bitch and how black men were dusty and all this. So they, again, the protect all black women, that is a catch-all term for any time a black woman is held responsible for her actions or is somehow attacked in any, whether physically or metaphorically, they throw that out there. Like, protect black women. We're the least protected in the country. And a lot of time, and I don't. And the sad thing is, as college educated black men who say this, I'm like, y'all don't, for somebody who likes to quote statistics, they don't know statistics, because in reality, the most underprivileged woman, the woman who faces the most danger in this country is Native American women.
And you would think they would know this, since most of them get bullshit criminal justice degrees, but that's a different story.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole protect black women thing, I'm like, look, I'm not saying, I'm not condoning domestic violence, but you want to know the easiest way to stop all that? Lock them up. Like, stop mating with violent criminals.
Oh, they talked about that in Comedy Hype, and this black chick got into the comedian Pierre's shit about that, because he basically made that argument. He was like, stop protecting them, lock them up. And they was like, well, we don't do it because we're worried about you guys getting shot by police.
No, you're not.
Something like that. The whole conversation was crazy as fuck.
And I hear what they saying, because at first I used to entertain that thought, like, maybe they do care, like they don't want us to get assaulted by police. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't think so.
But I'm also looking at it like, well, wait.
In the heat of the moment of you getting your ass beat, you're like, let me not call the police, because...
No, because to be fair, I try to be fair. So I will entertain that thought, because I heard somebody tell me that before, where they were a victim of SA, and they didn't want to call the police because they didn't want the person to, whatever. I told that individual, you fucking stupid. Call the police.
Yeah.
Get his ass locked up.
Yeah.
Whatever happens to him, happens to him. He committed a crime. He has to face the consequences. Now, don't get me wrong when they talk about, well, we don't want the police to shoot y'all. First of all, the police are only shooting unarmed black people who they don't deem as threats. They're not shooting at Pookie, Ray Ray, and Gloctavius, because Gloctavius and them are going to bust back. So the police are not, targeting hardened criminals.
I wish a cop would. I got this Dutch Eagle 4.4 rifle. Yeah.
No, I mean,
gold chew.
No, seriously, even in Baltimore, I have watched police watch dudes do straight up hand-to-hand transactions. Didn't say a word.
Well, Lexington Market is like an open drug market.
No, it wasn't even Lexington Market. But the point is, those dudes had guns, and they will shoot back. The police, honestly, they only pick on people who they feel as though it's not a threat. Because the moment you sound like a lawyer, or you got some money, their attitude will sometimes change. or unless you're a black child, or it's 15 of them against one black man who's maybe 150 pounds and who has on pajamas, or maybe a woman.
Hold up, I thought I saw a bicep. All right, everybody gun up.
Right. Like, unless you're a woman, they're not gonna fuck with you. Like, they're not. Honestly, we need to start looking at police like they're these tough protectors.
It's because people watch dumb shit like CSI, Law and Order, like a million cop movies.
Most cops are out of shape.
Yeah, but
before we go on a tangent,
I know. Let me just say this since we already on it. I was just gonna say, so yeah, most cops aren't bad boys. That's what they thinking. So, you know.
Exactly, and that, but as that too, exactly. My mate, that was you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, that's basically it. But moving back onto the whole protect black women thing, it's an ass backwards movement. Like, black women, even when we talk about police brutality, black women are. So they did a study, right? And I think it was in 2019, 2018-ish. When you can literally count on one hand how many black women were victims of police brutality. It wasn't even over 10. Not even, literally on one hand. That means you didn't even make it to 5. You didn't even make it to 5 women being a victim of police brutality. Native American women, it was I want to say double or triple digits.
Yeah, because they get assaulted. Like, people literally just go to reservations and assault them because they can't face, because they're outside. Once they cross out of the reservation, they're no longer within the jurisdiction where
the crime occurred, and the U.S. government isn't going to prosecute.
And then even when it does, then there's like a toss up of who gets what jurisdiction, because you'll have like the local jurisdiction of the reservation police, but they can only usually handle like misdemeanors. Anything that's like a felony up it's going to be a toss up between the state, the bureau, what is it, the Department of the Interior, or the FBI or whatever. Like, it's this huge hoopla with that, so it may not even go answered.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying, attacks don't happen to black. I'm not going to say they don't. They do. However, in addition to that, though, when black men, college-educated black men who are not perpetuating the negative stereotypes of black men, are telling you, stop, don't deal with this individual, what do you want us to do? Like I'll give you a prime example. So, freshman year, I'm at Howard, right? I was doing my thing at the time. Yeah. And it was this one female student, I went to go see her, and she had a black eye. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck happened to you? Like, I'm genuinely concerned, like, we can go roll up on him now, like, what's up? So I'm asking her what happened. She's getting an attitude with me, and then she finally blurts out, I was talking shit, and he punched me in my eye. And I'm like, oh, I see why he did it. And then I just walked away like, bro, you're not about to get an attitude with me, and I'm worried about your safety. Or another friend of mine, she started dating a drug dealer. Like, you're in college for pre-med, and you're choosing to date not even a good, like a high-level drug dealer who could do anything. I'm talking about a corner boy.
Yeah.
At best, he was a corner boy. So, and that's why, I guess for me, as I got older, I stopped having sympathy for the whole protect black women thing. Because I'm like, y'all pit these people. Y'all pit the worst of us to date. And then when you get those, and then when, those consequences that come with it happen, you want to say all black men are violent. Like, no, you chose to date someone who lives or perpetuates a tendency of violence. You watch Baby Boy and date those hood boogers. And then get mad at Darius because he went to class, and then you expect Darius to risk his life and his freedom to protect your ratchet ass. No.
And that's what I said in counter to my friend who wrote that protect all black women bullshit after the Megan Thee Stallion thing. Because first of all, why are you writing that when she won the fucking case? Like, that was the first thing that pissed me off. I was like in
retaliation, because a lot of people were like, fuck that. Like, and a lot of people were, and I get why, because again,
a lot of people were justifiably upset at the case. It was a weak case. If there was any merit to the concept of reasonable doubt.
That was it.
That was it.
Matter of fact, I'll do you one better. If it wasn't Megan Thee Stallion, if it was a white woman, and you had the exact same scenario, everybody would have been like, that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, for me, and that's the hypocrisy with the whole protect black or all black women thing. If you take many of these scenarios, replace it with a white woman, everybody would be okay with it. Like, everybody be like, nah, either, like with the Tory Lanez thing, they were like, nah, this is wrong. Like, none of this adds up.
And then like I said, the other part of it is, so you want black guys to go out and just risk their freedom or their life for random women.
Random black women who also trash them on a daily, who make them feel like they are the pariahs of the community, but in the same breath expect these same men to protect them. That doesn't make sense. That's patently irrational. I will go even further. You blame men, you blame all of us. We all get blamed for the violence that happens in the community, but then your response to that is you want black men to engage in vigilante justice, which is going to create more violence in the community, because now the criminals are going to retaliate against the vigilantes. So again, you're creating a scenario where black men will just constantly go to war, while again black women are just sitting on the side watching, still saying, protect all black women because black men are criminals, but then you want black men to engage in criminal acts for your benefit when it benefits you.
Right.
So now I'm like, that it's hypocritical at best.
And that was an angle I didn't even think of when I wrote that response on my Facebook, but I would have added that if I thought about it.
I'll add it to my Facebook. I'm going to do a whole post about it because I hate.
Yeah, if you want to share mine and add to it.
Yeah, because I hate it.
Because that's a good point I didn't even think of. Like, it's perpetuating violence to reduce violence. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. The easiest way to do this, lock them up. Lock up the criminals. But y'all don't want to do that. Why? Because they're your cousins, they're your brothers, they're your boyfriends, they're your baby daddies. And honestly, what we don't talk about in the black community a lot is how, in response to this, is how black women will sabotage their sons. And Luke Cage brought that up, and I don't think a lot of people caught it.
I did. That was a good part of it. I think I even brought it up in an old Facebook post like years ago.
I did too, but I don't think a lot of people caught it. Look at Cottonmouth. He wanted to go and play the piano, and his uncle supported him. I'm not saying his uncle was perfect, but his uncle supported him not being involved in the life.
In the life, right.
Mama Mabel, no, she told him, you got to be in a life, but the girl, she can go on to college. And a lot of times we don't talk about that in the black community, how we protect the criminals because not we. Black women will protect the criminals because they benefit. And typically it's a financial benefit. Yeah, he out there slinging that dope, but he bought us food.
Or the other angle that they send the girls off to college but expect the men to like just, work with their hands or whatever. Like, that's fucked up.
Outside of, if you can't rap or play a sport.
Like with my whole situation.
You gotta go work in a factory.
Like with my whole situation, they didn't even want me to go to school. But then with my sister, who was a fucking high school dropout, they were begging me to tell her to go to college. She didn't even want to go. She dropped out of high school and had no intentions of finishing school, but they were gonna pay for her, give her a full ride.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why me personally, the whole protect black women thing, like, I'm not saying black women should be getting beat or anything like that.
Of course not.
I'm never gonna condone that. However, in the same, not to discredit that, I don't want to say but. I'm trying to follow the words to say it because I don't want to rebuke what I said.
Right.
But in addition to that, in addition to not wanting them to be assaulted and all that, their choices and their environments they're in plays a part. I'm sorry. I get it. Yeah, everybody said, well, I should be able to go out and do X, Y, and Z.
No, they need to be held to account.
No. And I'm going to get that. No, you can't. And here's why. Because even though I'm an adult and I can go to bars, I should be able to go to any bar I want to. But the reason I don't is because I know as an adult, hey, you know what? Certain places I don't need to be because, the type of people that hang around there and the type of environment is, I don't need to be there because something, doesn't mean anything's going to happen, but something could happen. So why take the risk? And that's the problem. And
man, people aren't pragmatic. Like, yeah, ideally, I should be able to leave out the house, leave my door open, drive off to work, leave my keys in the car, and come back. My car is still there. I come back home. Everything's still in the house as I left it. That should be the case, but is that going to actually happen? No. And you need to plan accordingly for that.
I saw this somewhere, and I think it was like the best, one of the best quotes I heard. Women want the power of men, the privilege of women, but the responsibility of children. And I think that perfectly sums up, to me anyway, the whole protect all black women movement. You want the powers that men have, and yeah, men are privileged, fine, whatever. But it's a lot of responsibility that comes with the power that men have. You want that power, but you want the same privilege of being a woman.
Our privileges come with responsibility, as in, so women, when they want to get federal student aid, don't have to sign up for selective service. We do.
Exactly. And that's just that's a perfect example. But that's the thing, like that. But going back to the whole protect all black women thing, yeah, man. For me personally, I honestly, I honestly think that, if black women really had their way, they were off us.
Some of them have even said that, the divestors at least. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, so if I see something happening or whatever, I'm supposed to just throw down, fuck my life, forget that I have a wife, that I have a mother and sisters and fathers and uncles and yada 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 that care about me. I'm supposed to throw all that to the wind to protect this random person, and then if I get locked up and now I can no longer provide for my wife, or if I lose my life, same thing. But
then you're a stereotype. But that's the crazy part of it. Because on one hand, if you don't do it, you're not a real man. But if you were to do it, then that's saying, oh, see, we have all these violent black men. So it's a lose-lose. So I get why black men like, no, I'm just not going to get involved.
Yeah, and I've seen that situation play out so many times. Like, if you've ever been, in like public transportation or anywhere, there's always, some little altercation going on. And most guys just be like, they just stay out of it because
it's a lose-lose for us.
And then these black women are like, these niggas ain't shit. Like, and none of y'all gonna go help. I'm like, that's not.
No, my response is, you go help. I'm a girl. Honestly, yes, I'm being misogynistic right now.
Go ahead.
Stay in your place. And that's the problem. And I think really, seriously, that's the problem. You have a bunch of women who want to jump out there to be superheroes. Go do it yourself. If you want to go out there and fight people and all, go do it yourself.
Go ahead, She-Hulk.
Yeah, go do it yourself. And accept all the responsibility that comes with being a vigilante.
Black Widow.
Just accept all the responsibility. Like, I remember I was in high school, right? And it was some dude, I guess he was a drug addict. He was drunk or something. And these little girls were on the bus. They were around maybe a little younger than me. He was literally touching on them. Now, people are watching. All the adults, men and women, adults, didn't do anything. They just like, stop. Why are you doing it? They didn't really do nothing. Like, they did the bare minimum. So I intervened. I physically put myself like, yo, what are you doing? Those are little girls. Like, he had a little knife in his coat. I waited for it. I ain't gonna get into details. But the point is, I'm a teenager, and I had more balls than every adult on the bus to stop at a Chester. Well, all the adults sat there and looked, and I got kicked off the bus. Not the Chester.
That's some bullshit.
I got kicked off the bus. The bus driver said, I'm not moving till you leave. And then everybody told them, well, he didn't do nothing. It was the guy who was touching on them. And he tried to stop it. And the bus driver, I'm not moving till you get off the bus. I got off the bus. But that goes to my point of, that's just one example, but that goes to my point of when black men intervene, we still become the villain.
Which is why superheroes are such are like a fictional category because you can't be a hero in the real world.
And that's the thing, and we learned that, and that's the bird. And as black men, we learned that we can't be the hero, because as soon as we do it, we the villain. And again, women don't. I don't think black women really understand that when you intervene in certain things, the level of retaliation some people are willing to give is unbeknownst to them, because they don't have to physically deal with the repercussions of violence. Like, you know, it's it's a low level of violence between men, where we're not going to do but so much, because we know how it can escalate, and it can escalate to either a fist fight or to somebody being deleted, or somebody going to, like, it's just not worth the risk. And we don't live in that type of society anymore.
Like Aaron Magruder said, the best way to deal with a nigga moment is to call the police.
Exactly. Period. And I think the issue is that because women don't have to deal with the outcomes of those actions, like literally getting punched in the mouth by other women, like, it doesn't happen like that. And I want to say, I think women need to start punching other women in the mouth for them to understand, like, I can't go around saying anything I want. I can't go around intervening in everything, because there are consequences to my actions. And like the guy in New York, you know, the woman, she didn't have enough money on her EBT card to buy something from the little corner store. She told her boyfriend something else. Him and the store owner get into a fight. Mm-hmm. The store owner kills him, and she walks away scot-free, even though
she instigated the whole thing.
She instigated the whole thing, and the police just said, well, we're not going to charge her with that because she was protecting her boyfriend. She literally instigated the whole situation. And a lot of people don't want to admit to that, particularly women, because they know.
That should have been something, I don't know if this is a real thing, but it should be conspiracy to assault, to commit assault or whatever.
It is. It's something like that. I'm pretty sure it's something like that. I don't know exactly worded that way.
If you guys know anything about law and know anything about that, you can leave it in the comments. But I'm gonna wrap it up, because I just think protect all women is bullshit, frankly. And like, I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not gonna advocate for other guys to go out and.
If you see something, call the police. That's how you protect black women. Yeah. That's how you protect women in general. If you see something, you call the police and you record it from a safe distance. And if they start pulling guns or knives, then you walk your ass away.
Yep, enough said. Don't be Spider-Man, because Spider-Man in real life would be in jail.